This will be for the con exercise using the trig angle addition identities. So these are the addition and subtraction identities for sine, cosine, and tangent. Notice we have a pair of identities for sine, both plus and minus, for cosine plus and minus, and for the tan function plus and minus. Okay, so basically we'll be adding or subtracting two numbers to get the resultant angle that we need based on what they're asking us. Okay, and we're also going to need the half angle and double angle formulas. So for some of the problems, they're going to double the angle or half the angle. Notice there's a half angle formula for sine, cosine, and tangent. See, the angle is divided by 2 in all cases. And also a double angle formula for sine, cosine, and tangent. The angle is multiplied by 2 in all cases. Okay, so right here, they want us to find the cosine of 2 times angle ABC. All right, so basically we're looking at the letter in the middle to find the vertex angle, so that's going to be angle B. All right, and I am going to make that angle, theta. All right, that's just a Greek letter representing the angle measurement. So we are trying to find the cosine of 2 times theta, or 2 theta. All right, and we could look up the double angle formula for the cosine. All right, and you can see right here the double angle formula for the cosine of 2 times s, or 2 times theta, same thing. And there's a few identities here, or a few different equalities here. I think this one would be the easiest. Okay, so 2 times s, so basically their s is theta, so it's going to be 2 cosine squared of theta minus 1. All right, so that's going to be 2 cosine squared of theta minus 1. Okay, I just used the formula. All right, so we have 2, and cosine squared of theta is basically the same as the cosine of theta squared. Okay, that's the same thing, and minus 1. And remember, so, ka, toa. For the cosine, it's adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so this was the angle theta. If you go across from theta, that's your opposite. If you go across from the right angle, that's your hypotenuse, and the remaining side is adjacent. Okay, so cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So it's going to be 2 times adjacent over hypotenuse squared minus 1. So adjacent is 3 in place of A. Hypotenuse is 5 in place of H. And that's squared minus 1. So this is 2. Square the fraction, you square the numerator and denominator individually. So 3 squared is 9, and 5 squared is 25. Okay, and since the denominator here will be 25, I'm going to convert the 1 to 25 over 25. Okay, 2 times 9 is 18. And 18 over 25 minus 25 over 25 is negative 7 over 25. So negative 7 / 25. Okay, here they want us to find the sine of 2 times angle BAC. So we're looking at the center letter. That's going to be the vertex. So this is angle BAC. BAC, okay, I'm going to make that theta. So it's basically sine of 2 times theta. All right, so we're looking at the sine of 2 theta. All right, so I'm going to look up the formula for this one. It's basically the double angle formula for sine. All right, so the double angle formula for sine, and they use s instead of theta. It's just 2 sine of s times the cosine of s. So we will say 2 sine of theta times cosine of theta. All right, so that's it right there. All right, so remember SOHCAHTOA. For the sine, it's opposite over hypotenuse. So this is going to be 2 times for the sine, opposite over hypotenuse. And for the cosine, remember SOHCAHTOA, adjacent over hypotenuse. All right, so that's what we're looking at here. And we need to label the sides. Go to your reference angle theta. Across is your opposite. Go to the right angle. Across is your hypotenuse. And the remaining side is adjacent. All right. So we have the 2. Opposite over hypotenuse is 4 divided by 2 radical 5. Adjacent over hypotenuse is 2 divided by 2 radical 5. All right, and now we can cancel. 2 divided by 2 cancels. 2 divided by 2 cancels. In the numerator, the only thing left is a 4. And in the denominator, radical 5 times radical 5 is just 5. Final answer. 4 over 5. Okay, here they want us to find the sine of angle ABC minus 60 degrees. So we're looking at the center letter of the 3. That's going to be the vertex, so that's angle B. I will label that theta. So basically, sine of theta minus 60. All right, so we're going to look for the subtraction formula for sine of subtracting 2 numbers. All right, so we're looking at the addition and subtraction formulas. The one that's subtracting is this one right here. So sine of s minus t, the s is theta, and the t is the 60. All right, so this right here is what we're working with. So it's going to be sine cosine minus cosine sine. All right, so I'm just going to remember this and go back to the other screen. Sine cosine minus cosine sine. First letter is S, second letter is T. But in our case, it's theta and 60. All right, so we said sine cosine minus cosine sine. All right, so this was theta right here, and this was 60 right here, and this was theta right here, and this was 60 right there. All right, so label the triangle. Across from your reference angle is opposite. Across from the right angle is the hypotenuse, and the remaining side is adjacent. All right, so sine SOHCAHTOA, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. And the cosine of 60, you have to check on the unit circle for that. or you can use special right triangles, or you can use your calculator, at least for some of them. Okay, cosine of 60 is just 1/2. And then for cosine of theta, remember ca, that's adjacent over hypotenuse. And the sine of 60, check your unit circle, but I know it is radical 3 over 2. Okay, some calculators will give it to you in this form, but most of them won't if you type in the sine of 60 on the calculator. And you really need it in this form. It can't be the decimal because it has to be exact. Okay, but if your calculator won't do this, then use the unit circle. Opposite is 4. Hypotenuse is 5 times 1/2. Adjacent is 3. Hypotenuse is 5 times radical 3 over 2. All right, canceling. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and we have 2/5. And over here we have 3 radical 3. And 5 times 2 is 10. We'll see what form the answer is in. It might have a common denominator. Let's check. All right, we have positive 2/5. So it's either C or D. Negative 3 radical 3 over 10. Negative 3 radical 3 over 10. There you go. This radical 3, it's the same thing as if it were in the numerator when it's out front like that. So it's answer C. All right, one more. We're doing the cosine of angle ABC minus 60. So we're looking at angle B. I'm going to label that theta. Okay, so this angle right here, ABC, is going to be theta. So cosine of theta minus 60. All right, so I'm going to look for the subtraction formula for cosine. All right, the subtraction formula cosine is this one right here. So it's cos plus sine. Okay, I'll remember that. Cos plus sine, and just alternate the two angles. All right, we said cosine plus sine. Okay, cosine, the first one was theta, and the second one was 60. And same with the sines. The first one was theta, and the second one was 60. All right, so for the cosine of theta, we're looking at adjacent over hypotenuse. And the cosine of 60 is just 1/2. All right, check your unit circle. If your calculator, this one, see 1/2, it's easy, but when you'll do this, you'll see it's not going to work on most calculators, just a select few. Sine of theta is opposite over hypotenuse, and the sine of 60 is radical 3 over 2. All right, check your unit circle if you need to. You can't do a decimal here. Labeling the triangle, we were looking at angle B as the reference angle. You go across from B, that's your opposite. You go across from the right angle, that's your hypotenuse. And the remaining side is your adjacent. All right, adjacent is 8. Hypotenuse is 10, and that's times 1/2. Opposite is 6. Hypotenuse is 10, and that's times radical 3 over 2. Okay, I always like to reduce first. 8 over 2 is 4, and 4 over 10 is 2/5. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that's going to be 3 times radical 3 over 10. Final answer. Okay, we have positive 2/5. So it's either B or C. Right here, there's a radical 3 attached to the 2/5. And then we have 3 plus 3 radical 3 over 10. That's this one right here. Here it's minus. That's no good. So that is answer C.